Hi, everybody. Welcome to Attack with Larry C. I'm your host, Larry Christiansen, and we're going to continue talking about some of the attacking highlights from the recently concluded uh, Tromso Chess Olympiad. And we're going to start off with a little combo, seemingly out of nowhere, a shocker, played between Mr. Vakidov of Uzbekistan, white, his opponent, the strong Ukrainian GM, Anton Korobov, black. I should say, most of this game, Korobov was basically calling the shots. He had the initiative. And I think with his last move, which was rook e2, looks like he's about to do some serious damage. He's got a rook on the second. His king seems relatively safe. How could anything happen here? But look what happens. Out of nowhere, white wins. And how might he play here? Find the winner. Well, the move was b5, shocking, hitting the queen. Now, let's say, just for the sake of argument, black declines to take the rook. Then white, what does white do now? Of course, he plays queen a1 check. Black plays king g8, otherwise he's losing monster material. And now white suddenly plays rook a7, threatening mate. Black's only hope to avert mate is rook e1 check, and then white wins out of nowhere. Queen takes e1, queen takes a7, and now he combines attack and defense with queen c3, threatening the bishop, protecting against checks, and setting up the horrific bishop d5 check. Black has no proper defense. Okay, what happens if black plays rook c2? Well, then white plays simply queen takes c2, bishop takes c2, rook takes d4. Game over. So that leaves, really, queen takes a4. If black plays queen f6, white simply marches that pawn forward, and black has no chance of stopping that pawn. So what happens after queen takes a4? Well, now white wins with queen c3 check. Now, if king g8, bishop d5 check forces inevitable mate. King f8, queen f6 check, king e8, and a familiar mate to listeners of Attack with Larry C, bishop c6. That's the queen and bishop crossfire mate. So that reduced Mr. Korobov to settling for rook e5, but now after f takes e5, white threatens the bishop, as well as e takes d6 check. Black's game essentially collapses. Queen d1 check, protecting the bishop at least. King h2, bishop takes b5. And now white wins the bishop. Everything works. It's like made to order. King g8, check, king g7, and he picks off the bishop. Queen b7 check, takes the bishop. And now if king takes e6, white wins comfortably with queen e8 check. And that's the ball game. So quite a turn of events. One moment black is seemingly coasting to, well, looks very promising after rook e2, but after b5 suddenly he's on the verge of defeat. Quite a turnaround. Okay, and now let's go to our main feature for this program, and that is a very rarely seen opening, even at any level, much less at the Super Grandmaster level. And I'm talking about, this is an encounter between Latvian Grandmaster Shirov, white, facing off against Lithuanian GM Sarunas Sulskis black. Of course, Shirov needs no introduction. He's the author of many great attacking games, brilliant sacrifices, big risks. He's a big canvas attacker and plays all the openings. And here we see something you might see from the 19th century, mid-19th century, if not earlier. And that is a modern example of the fried liver attack. Of course, an opening near and dear to our hearts from our youth as just learning the game. So here we see in action the fried liver attack, which begins knight g5. It's controversial to this day, and it remains an arsenal among even some top players. Of course, thanks to computers, these very tactical lines can be analyzed in great detail, defensively and offensively. And here Sulskis plays d5, no Traxler gambit this time. Plays d5, ed, and of course the usual answers here are knight a5, knight d4, and b5. But we see now black playing the old knight takes d5. And here white is a very pleasant alternative between the real fried liver attack, knight takes f7, and the more modern treatment, d4. d4 rapidly promotes development. If e takes d4 castles is extremely unpleasant for black. If black plays bishop b4 check, we can see c3, bishop e7, and then knight takes f7 gives white ample, more than an adequate compensation for the piece after takes, check, king e6 castles. One would expect Shirov to play d4 here. But instead, he thought apparently for a good long 20 to 30 minutes and went with the old-fashioned knight takes f7, a sacrifice to draw the black king up the board, and at the same time it promotes in a very significant way white's development. So a time-tested sacrifice by Shirov. Now, and he must have been asking himself, maybe what has Sulskis done? He's done some really thorough research on this? Well, as they say, curiosity never killed the chess player. So king takes f7, or once in a while it does. So queen check is all book. Knight c3. Now, knight ce7 is another option. It's a passive option. I'd say an inferior option. After d4, white gets very quick, powerful play. If c6, he'll pin and castle long quickly. The black king is in serious danger. I think that line is extinct. So he tried knight cb4 that protects and attacks at the same time. And Shirov, now he could have considered queen e4. That's a rather conventional, solid move. It's less ambitious, though, and certainly not as Shirovian as the game continuation a3, offering the rook in the corner. Black must take. And by the way, just for sake of a discussion, after queen e4, black should play c6, a3, knight a6, but after d4, there's no question white has very nice compensation for the sacrifice piece here too. But instead he plays the sharp, critical move, knight a3, knight takes, king d1, knight takes rook. Okay, big question what to do now. Shirov now plays knight takes knight. The obvious move. He has an option of playing d4. That's quick, full mobilization type move. But after c6, rook e1, king d7, and that looks like the best move, getting that king out of danger as quickly as possible. Knight takes d5, c takes d5, rook takes e5, This is one possibility. Bishop d6, that looks like best. Rook takes d5. Rook f8. Rook takes d6 check. King takes d6. Queen g3 check. King c6. d5 check. King d7. Bishop b5 check. Looks like black's king is in serious danger. King e7. Don't forget, though, white is down 2 full rooks. He's got those beautiful queen and bishops working and that pawn, but there's no win. Queen takes g7 check. Black can play king d6 and apparently live to tell the tale. Bishop d2, king takes d5, and me and some of my cyber friends have not found a convincing line here for white. Many, many, many other possibilities, I should point out, in this position. It does look like after d4, c6, rook e1, king d7, though, it does look like black does survive this. So Shirov played knight takes d5, and really this is a critical moment in this game. What should black do? Well, I think you should play queen h4, hitting that bishop. It's amazing. This move does seem to hold the fort for black. The point is now where the whites discovered attack checks. Well, if he plays knight takes c7 check, black will play king d7. White does not want to lose that bishop, so he tries queen f7 check. Now black plays queen e7. Mission accomplished. He's brought the king back to d7. And now white can win that rook in the corner and reestablish material equality. But after queen takes f7, bishop takes f7, it turns out the black knight is safer than the knight on a8. And it would appear this is at least equal for black, this line. In fact, after bishop c5, it looks like it favors black. And the same story would go with queen takes e7 check, bishop takes, knight takes, the same story, bishop c5. Now there are other possibilities here for white after queen h4. There's knight b6 check, but it's a similar story. Knight b6 check, king e7 check, king d8. The king is relatively safe there. Knight takes a8. And now he develops and protects, and the burden of proof here is definitely on white. Very strange line. So, for all you theoretical geniuses out there, let's investigate this exact position. It looks like queen h4 and black is holding. Instead, Sulskis plays king d6, impulse to get that king out of the line of fire, but after this, it's a precious tempo now gone to waste. White's attack just explodes. And here he goes, d4, very obvious move, gets ready to get the bishop into play instantly. And now Sulskis tries bishop e6. There's really not much else to recommend. D takes e5 checks, a monster threat. So the plan behind bishop e6 is to draw the king back to d7. But now here comes the rook barging into play. And now if c6, white has the beautiful line, rook takes e5. Bishop takes, rook takes d5 check, cd. Queen takes d5 check, king c7. Bishop f4 check. Forced, bishop d6, queen c5 check, pin and win, king d7, queen takes d6 check, king e8, queen e6 check, forced, queen e7, and here comes the bishop to b5 check. And now if king f8, we get bishop d6, and if we get plays king d8. Yes, we get bishop g5, pin and win. Queen takes g5, mate on d7. And I'll catch my breath. That line was grim in c6. So here, Sulskis tries b5, a deflection move, trying to drive the bishop away from its fine spot. Add a little square control, but here Shirov is up to the task here, just taking out the black position completely. He found the devastating retreat, knight b4, threatening to invade on b4. And now if queen c6 check is a crusher threat, which really black can do nothing about except to take the bishop and hope for the best. He takes with a pawn, but now white sets up, he retrieves most of his material, sacrificed, check, takes. Okay, well, smoke's clearing a little bit. Of course, black has a rook and 2 pieces for the queen, but the difference is that poor knight on a1 is virtually assured loss, especially now after white eats a few pawns and maintains the initiative. Keeps up the initiative. Now that collects the c4 pawn. And there it is. Big, very important pawn. Now this check really does not help white-black much. King d2, knight b3 check. King c3 is a very temporary resolution for black. White's going to win material via knight c6, rook e6, all sorts of good moves available. He tried a5, and Shirov very accurately solves all his problems. He tries to draw the knight out with a4 now. Knight c5, nothing doing, and now I have knight b3. He takes the bishop. Rook takes, check, rook f7, and yes, rook e7 forces quick mate. White utilizing all of his assets in this attack. Black tries desperately to get the h8 rook into play also to bring some king safety, but now Shirov starts mopping up, check, and that rook comes down as a monster impact on e6, controlling the g6 square. Sulskis tries the feeble and also protects d6, of course, directly and indirectly. Rook takes d6, takes, bishop takes, queen d3 check, wins easily. And so black tried g6, and Shirov, alert all the way in this game, smashes the game home with rook takes g6. And after king takes, actually Sulskis resigned in this position in the view of king takes g6 check. Well, where do you put the king? It's a sad story. Wherever it goes, he's going to lose the rook on d7, and he'll end up down a lot. Okay, just utterly, completely hopeless. Great attacking game. Shades of the 19th century, mid-19th century. Fried liver attack seen in modern day. It's like visiting a museum. Thanks to a tour with Alexei Shirov is our tour guide. And that'll do it for this episode of Attack with Larry C. Thanks everyone for joining me.
Hi, this is Grandmaster Damian Lemos. First of all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to receive more free chess videos from us, you can just click the subscribe button below. I would also highly recommend signing up for my free mail course, The 10 Grandmaster Secrets to Dominate Chess. During this exclusive course from onlinechesslessons.net, I'll share with you my own Grandmaster shortcuts to effective attacking, defending, and growth hacks to improving your chess without complicated books or memorization. So sign up by clicking the sidebar on the right, and I know you won't be disappointed. Once more, this is Damien for onlinechesslessons.net, and I'll see you in my videos. Thank you.